I'm David Hoffman, filmmaker, and this is what I do every once in a while is comment to my subscribers and maybe some newbies, giving you suggestions for how to live a better life, how to do better work, how to create, how to feel good, how to be productive, how to feel good about what you're doing and good about what others are doing. So I got this piece of paper here. This is a paper that the great author Henry Miller, he was kind of a radical author in his time, wrote for himself and pasted on his wall. And I use it on my wall. I'd like to read it to you, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you with your work, whatever you're doing. Here we go. Work on one thing at a time until finished. Hard. I'm a multitasker. I can't do one thing at one time until finished. I really can't. I do something, leave it, and do something else. When I'm really being I want to get on with it, I play solitaire, and then I go back to what I'm doing. I get some food, and then I go back to what I'm doing. I call a friend, and then I go back to what I'm doing. I cannot stick to one task at one time. So Henry Miller's suggestion, while good and maybe helpful to you, I just want you to know there's a lot of creative people like me who can't do what he says here. Don't be nervous. Work calmly, joyously, recklessly on whatever is at hand. Don't be nervous. I'm not nervous, but it takes discipline. In other words, I have to say to myself, experience has told me that it's going to be okay. If I just keep on going, it's going to be okay. Stopping and letting that nervousness stop me. I'm no good. It's not going well. What am I doing anyway? I'm wasting my time, or all those other million things people say that were actually said to a lot of people when they were young by their parents and by the school. They're just wrong. I am nervous when I'm working. I have anxiety talking to you right now. But I also know I'm doing something good, in part because you tell me, because I don't have that much confidence. If you all said, you're an idiot, and this is not working, and I turn you off, click, because you got the ultimate power, right? Doop, and I'm gone. Well, I wouldn't be doing this for very long. So I say, be nervous, but keep going. Okay, 3. Work according to a program, not according to your mood. Stop at the appointed time and start at the appointed time. In other words, make a schedule. I really believe in a schedule. I get up in the morning, make my coffee, sit down with a pad, and I write what I must do today to achieve a sense of calmness and comfortableness and satisfaction, not happiness, satisfaction at night. And I try to do everything on that list. So making a schedule, and my schedule doesn't have a time on it, but I want to do this. I want to do this video for you this afternoon, and that's what I'm doing. Good or bad, I'm going to get done with it. I suggest that to you. Next one. Be human. See people. Go places. Drink if you feel like it. I do that. I think that's a really good idea. I think being alone is tough. I also think being with people is tough. So when I worked in an office, and many of you do, I'm sure, it's tough. There's a lot of stress. Can't do a lot of the things you want to do. So I'm really talking, I guess, about creative time, free time, unless you're an artist or by artist I mean creative person, or a young person who hasn't yet entered the workforce to know the stresses of being around other people all the time. I prefer to work alone. A lot of people don't. It's just something to think about. Concentrate. Narrow down, he says. Exclude. I find excluding critical. What is not relevant to what I'm doing? What is just, it's good. Maybe it's good. Maybe I should do it, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do this story about this bird and the guy who carved this for me in Maine. That's my story. I'm going to stick on that story. I'm not going to deviate from it too much. So I believe excluding irrelevant stuff, very useful when you're trying to create anything, do anything. Henry Miller says, think only of what you are doing at the moment. As I said before, I need frequent breaks. For me, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I lose my verve. For you, you may be able to do it. And if you are, you're probably more like Henry Miller than I am. He wrote a lot of books. And here's one of my favorite ones ever in my life. I use it all the time. Here it comes. Got anything better to do? A friend of mine was going to marry someone, and he wasn't sure. Should he be doing this? He's 45 years old. I said, got anything better to do? Thought about it. Really, I don't. Do I have anything better to do than to talk to you right now? No. Not given the stresses of my life, the money I've got to make, the community I'd like to build, my own personal talent, and my desire to do this, I don't have anything better to do. If you've got something better to do and you've got a bit of free time, do it. If you don't have anything better to do what you're doing, move forward, and ask yourself that question all the time. I think it's terrific. Here's another one. Use a pen to think. Sounds ridiculous. By the way, a fountain pen is what he's talking about. But I found that is completely me. I go to sit in a spot with a pad, and I let my mind talk through my hand. And out comes ideas that I can't believe how good they are. The pen, the hand, and the free thought. I'm just going to think about a new tree. I'm going to think about a restaurant. I'm going to think about a vacation. Boom, out it comes, different from any other way that I think. So I suggest to you, buy a fountain pen and try it. A pad and a pen, and just writing down a thought that seems to come from a place in your brain that oftentimes you don't even know is there. I'm going to end this long video, so if you're still with me, thank you so much, by giving you some thoughts of James Michener. James Michener was the author. He wrote 40 books. He wrote Hawaii. He wrote The Bridge at Toko-Ri. He wrote Tales of the South Pacific, which became the Broadway play South Pacific. He was a great writer, lived a very successful life. Here's what he said. The master of the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, between his labor and his leisure, between his mind and his body, between his information and his recreation, between his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues a vision of excellence at whatever he's doing, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. For him, he's always doing both. For me, talking to you, making the video, working YouTube, having my family, being alive, is playing and working, both. I think what James Michener said is brilliant. That's what it's really about. If you're not feeling that way, you can get there. You can get where time goes by. You know, when I'm in the editing room, sometimes I forget to pee. I forget to eat. I forget to drink water, which I'm supposed to do at my age, lots of. It's just timeless. That's what he's talking about, this play and work, one thing. It's a wonderful feeling. Try to have it someplace in your life, and if you already do, you're lucky, like I am, or you work at it. And if you don't, just know that it's a possibility, that it's real, that you can be there. So I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to thank you for giving me the chance to share my thoughts with you. You don't have to agree, but if you've given me the chance to open your mind a little bit, I want you to know that your comments and your support give me the chance to open my mind a little bit. Thank you. David Hoffman, filmmaker.